Chapter 1. Computer System. You already know that a computer is an electronic machine. It cannot work on its own. We need to feed data into it and give instructions to it. For a computer to work, it needs two main parts. These are hardware, software. Hardware. All the physical parts that together make a computer system are called hardware parts or simply hardware. These are the parts that can be touched. A computer cannot work without hardware. Keyboard, monitor, mouse, printer, speakers, microphone, and hard disk are some examples of computer hardware. For understanding the different parts of hardware properly, we first need to know the working of a computer. Working of a computer. A computer follows three basic steps to work as given below: input, process, output. These three steps are also called the IPO cycle. Storage is another step added to the functioning of a computer that helps to store data and instructions. Input. The data and instructions given to the computer are called inputs. For example, to add two numbers, we will enter 5, 4, plus. Input. Here 5 and 4 are data and plus is an instruction that is to be performed on the data. Process. A computer accepts, examines, and calculates the result. This is called processing. For example, the input instruction will be processed on the input data. 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. Processing. Here, plus operation, input instruction, will be performed on 5 and 4 input data. Output. The result displayed by a computer after processing is called output. For example, processed information or result will appear on the monitor screen. 9. Output. Here the result of 5 plus 4 will appear as 9. Storage. After the data is processed according to the instructions given by the CPU, it is stored in the computer for future use. To perform the 4 different types of functions, a computer has 4 different parts which are grouped as input devices, processing devices, output devices, storage devices. Let us study about these devices. Input devices. Input devices are used to feed data and instructions into the computer. Some of the input devices are as follows. Keyboard. A keyboard has many buttons on it called keys. We use these keys to enter text, numbers, and symbols into the computer. Mouse. We use mouse to select and point at things on the monitor. We also use it to draw pictures. Scroll mouse, which is commonly used, has 2 buttons and a scroll wheel between them. Touch screen. A touch screen is a display screen that responds to the touch of a user's fingers. Instead of pressing keys, we use our fingers to point directly and work on the items on the screen. Nowadays, most of the tablet computers, mobile phones, and ATMs have a touch screen. Touchpad. A laptop has a touchpad that works as a mouse. By moving a finger along the touchpad, we can move the pointer on the screen. We can also click by tapping on the touchpad. A touchpad usually comes with 2 buttons. These buttons together form the click pad. These buttons work similar to the left and right buttons of a mouse. Light pen. We use a light pen to point and select objects. Using a light pen, we can also draw outline and color directly on the screen. Joystick. We use a joystick to move the pointer on the screen. It is mainly used while playing games. Microphone. We use a microphone to record sounds into a computer. The recorded sound is then saved as a sound file on the computer. Scanner. A scanner is used to scan printed text or pictures and display them on the monitor. The most commonly used scanners are flatbed and barcode scanners. Flatbed scanners have a flat glass surface on which the document or picture to be scanned is placed. Barcode scanner are handheld scanners that are used for reading barcodes. You might have seen them being used in grocery stores and shopping malls. Digital camera. A digital camera captures and stores photos and videos on a removable chip called memory card. Photos and videos from the camera can be transferred directly to a computer by connecting the two or by using a memory card reader. Webcam. A webcam, short form of web camera, is used to capture photos and videos. It is generally connected to a computer. Many desktop computers and laptops come with a built-in webcam. Processing device. Processing device is used to process data and instructions given to the computer. The CPU, Central Processing Unit, is the processing device in a computer. It processes data and instructions given by us. It also controls all input, output, and other devices. That is why the CPU is also called the brain of computer. CPU has three parts: Arithmetic and Logic Unit, ALU. Arithmetic and Logic Unit, ALU, performs all the arithmetic calculations and logical comparisons. It adds, subtracts, multiplies, and divides numbers. It also compares numbers to find if a number is equal to, greater than, or less than the other number. Control Unit, CU. Control Unit, CU, controls and manages the flow of information between different parts of the computer. Register or memory unit. Register or memory unit stores all the data that is to be processed. It helps the ALU to easily access or obtain all the data it needs to perform calculations. Output devices. Output devices display results after processing of the data. Some of the output devices are as follows. Monitor. A monitor displays the result output in the form of text, pictures, or videos. It is also called VDU, Visual Display Unit. The output we see on the monitor is called a soft copy. There are three types of monitors. First, CRT, cathode ray tube monitor. It is big in size, heavy, and occupies lots of space. This monitor is rarely used these days. Second, LCD, liquid crystal display monitor. It is neither very big in size nor heavy. It occupies less space. The pictures on it are more clear than those on CRT monitor. Third, LED, light emitting diode monitor. It is also neither big in size nor heavy. It also occupies less space. The pictures on it are much clearer than those on CRT and LCD monitors. Printer. A printer is used to get the output, text and pictures on a paper. The printed copy is called the hard copy. There are three main types of printers: dot matrix, inkjet, and laser. Dot matrix printer. It can print only a few pages in a minute. It is one of the earliest printers and creates a lot of noise. Inkjet printer. It can print up to 40 pages in a minute. It is more expensive than a dot matrix printer. Laser printer. It is the best in performance and print quality. It can print up to 100 pages in a minute. It is more expensive than the dot matrix and inkjet printers both. Projector. A projector is used to display images and videos on a screen. The screen could be a whiteboard, white cloth, or even a wall. It is used while teaching in schools and colleges and giving presentation in offices. Speakers and headphones. Speakers and headphones are used to listen to output in the form of sound. Storage devices. The data we feed into the computer and the information generated can be stored on the computer for future use. Storage devices store information saved on a computer. They can be internal or external. Hard disk. Hard disk is the main storage device of a computer. It comes fitted inside the CPU box. It can store large amounts of data. All the work done on a computer is stored on the hard disk. CD. CD stands for compact disc. CDs are circular in shape and can store a lot of data. They are external and can easily be carried from one place to another. Most of the programs and games are also available on CDs. DVD. DVD stands for Digital Versatile Disc. A DVD looks exactly like a CD but stores more data than it. You can store many movies, songs, and programs on a DVD. Pen drive. Pen drive is a storage device which is very small in size. It can easily be carried in a pocket or bag. A pen drive can be used to store and transfer data from one computer to another. It can store even more data than a DVD does. Software. Software is a set of instructions that tells the computer hardware how to operate. It therefore controls the working of a computer. Windows, MS Paint, Tux Paint, Notepad, WordPad, and games are some examples of computer software. Types of software. System software, application software. System software. System software are programs that control and operate the computer hardware. Before starting to do any work on computer, we must install system software. Operating system or OS is an example of system software. Windows, Unix, Linux, and Mac OS are some examples of operating system. Windows is the most popular operating system. There are many versions of Windows such as Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. The interface that we get on computer screen after installing the operating system is called desktop. Application software. Application software are programs used to perform a specific task. These are installed and used whenever we need them. MS Paint, MS Office, and games are some examples of application software. Some application software such as MS Paint, WordPad, and Calculator come already installed in Windows by default. Other application software such as Photoshop, MS Office, and Tux Paint need to be installed separately on the computer. Chapter 2. Windows 7. An operating system is the first software to be installed on a computer. It manages and controls various parts of a computer. Application software also needs an operating system to work. Some important operating systems are Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows or Windows is the most popular operating system available for modern personal computers. Microsoft Corporation created the Windows operating system in the 1980s. Over the years, there have been many different versions of Windows like Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows XP, and Windows Vista. The most recent versions are Windows 7, Windows 8 and Windows 10. Windows 1.0 1985, Windows 3.1 1992, Windows 95 1995, Windows XP 2001, Windows Vista 2006, Windows 7 2009, Windows 8 2012, Windows 10 2015. When we switch on a Windows-based computer, the Windows operating system gets loaded onto the computer's memory. This is known as booting. During this time, we can see the Windows logo, shaped like a flag, and the message "Starting Windows." Features of Windows operating system. Microsoft Windows has become one of the most popular operating systems due to its following features. MS Windows is a graphical user interface (GUI) operating system. Users do not need to remember text-based commands to operate the computer. It is user-friendly software. It allows users to work on many programs at the same time. Desktop and its parts. When a computer is switched on, it starts booting. After booting, the desktop appears on the screen of the monitor. Look at the different parts of Windows 7 desktop. Icons, Start button, Taskbar, Desktop background, Gadgets. Let us learn about each part in detail. Desktop background. The background picture of Windows desktop is called the desktop background. It is also called the wallpaper. Icons. Tiny pictures present on the desktop are called icons. Each icon on desktop represents a program or a file. Double-clicking on an icon opens or runs the program. Let us learn about some of the icons on the desktop. The computer icon represents all the hard disk drives, saved files, and folders. You can open drives, files, or folders in it by double-clicking on their icons. The recycle bin icon represents all the deleted files and folders. It acts as a dustbin for your computer. You can get your deleted files back from the recycle bin, but once a file is deleted from the recycle bin, it cannot be recovered. Hiding and unhiding the desktop icons. To hide the desktop icons, follow these steps. First, right-click on the desktop. Click on View. Second, click on Show Desktop Icons to uncheck it. All icons disappear as soon as you uncheck the Show Desktop Icons option. Third, to make the icons reappear on the desktop, click on the Show Desktop Icons option again. Gadgets. Gadgets are mini utility programs of Windows 7. They provide information and easy access to frequently used tools. Gadgets can be added or removed on the desktop at any time. They are displayed on the right side of the screen, but you can move them anywhere on the screen by dragging. To display a gadget, the steps to be followed are: first, right-click anywhere on the blank area on the desktop. A shortcut menu is displayed. Second, choose the Gadgets option. Third, double-click a gadget to add it, or right-click on the gadget and choose the Add option. The gadget is displayed on the top right corner of the desktop. Taskbar. The long bar present at the bottom of the desktop is called the taskbar. The components of a taskbar are shown below. Notification area. It is on the right side of the taskbar. In the notification area, you can view programs and tasks that are running in the background. You can also view important messages for your computer in it. System clock. The system clock displays the current date and time. Show Desktop button. The Show Desktop button is on the right corner of the taskbar. Clicking on this button minimizes all opened programs and displays the desktop. Screensaver. A screensaver is a moving picture that appears when your computer remains idle for some time. Start button. It is on the bottom left corner of the taskbar. You can click on the Start button to open the Start menu. It displays a list of options. Clicking on All Programs option in the Start menu opens a list of programs. You can go back to the Start menu by clicking on the Back option. The Start menu is also used to shut down the computer by clicking the Shut Down button. Quick Launch Icons. Quick launch icons are used to open programs quickly. These icons are present on Quick Launch toolbar. You can add any program from the Start or All Programs menu to the taskbar as Quick Launch icon following the steps given below. You can also drag any program icon from the Start menu or All Programs list and drop it on the taskbar as a Quick Launch icon. First, open Start menu. Second, right-click on the program you want to add. Third, select Pin to Taskbar option. The program icon appears on the taskbar. Click on the Quick Launch icon to open the program. Removing a program from the taskbar. You can also remove any program from the taskbar by following the steps given below. First, right-click on the program. Second, click on Unpin this program from taskbar option. The program removes from the taskbar. Minimizing a program window. You can minimize an opened program window by clicking on the Minimize button. The program window disappears and the program icon appears on the taskbar. When you hold the mouse pointer over the icon, you will see a small pop-up rectangle showing the opened program. Changing the position of taskbar. You can change the position of taskbar to any of the 4 sides on the screen. Follow these steps to do it. First, right-click on an empty space on the taskbar. Second, hold the mouse button. Third, drag the mouse pointer to the right of the computer screen. Fourth, release the mouse button. The taskbar moves to the right of the computer screen. Follow these steps to move taskbar to any other direction on desktop. Changing Windows theme. A theme is the look and feel of an operating system. Changing the theme of Windows changes the desktop background, Windows color, sounds, and screensaver. Let us learn how to change Windows theme. First, right-click anywhere on the desktop. Click on the Personalize option. A window opens. Second, click on a theme of your choice. The desktop background displays the selected theme. Chapter 3. More on Paint. So far, you have studied how to draw lines, shapes, and other pictures. You have also learned how to fill colors in them. You also know how to type text in your drawings. In this chapter, you will learn about the options and tools in the clipboard and image groups present on the ribbon. To use the various options and tools in the clipboard and image groups, first you need to select the entire picture or a part of it. Selecting a picture. You have already learned how to select a picture or a part of it. Let's revise the different types of selection process. The 3 main types of selection include rectangular selection, free-form selection, and select all. Rectangular selection is used to select a square or rectangular portion of the picture. First, in the image group, click on the drop-down arrow under the Select option. Second, click on Rectangular selection. Third, drag the pointer to select a part of the picture. The rectangular portion is selected. Freeform selection is used to select an irregular part of the picture. First, in the image group, click on the drop-down arrow under the Select option. Second, click on Freeform selection. Third, drag the pointer around the portion to be selected. To select the whole picture, click on Select All. Cropping a picture. The crop option in the images group is used to keep the selected part of a picture and delete the remaining picture from the drawing area. First, click on the drop-down arrow under Select. Click on the type of selection you want to make. Second, drag the pointer to select the part of the picture you want to crop. Third, click on Crop option in the image group. The selected part will appear as a new file. Fourth, to save the cropped picture as a new file, click on the Paint button and select the Save As option. Name the new file and click on Save. Deleting a part of picture. You can delete the selected part of the picture. The Delete option removes the selected part of a picture from the drawing area. Follow these steps to delete selected part of the picture. First, click on the drop-down arrow under Select. Choose a selection. Second, select the part of the picture you want to remove. Third, click on the drop-down arrow under Select again and click on the Delete option to delete the selected part. Resizing and skewing a picture. Resizing a picture. The Resize option is used to resize a picture or a portion of it. First, click on the drop-down arrow under Select and choose a selection. Drag the pointer in the drawing area to select the picture. Second, click on Resize in the image group. The Resize and Skew dialog box opens. To resize, follow the steps given below. Third, click on the Maintain Aspect Ratio checkbox. Fourth, in the Resize area, enter the new value in the horizontal box. The value in the vertical box is updated automatically. Fifth, click on OK to get the picture resized. Skewing a picture. Skewing makes a picture appear slanted. To skew a picture horizontally or vertically, type a value in the horizontal or vertical box. The following screenshots show the pictures skewed horizontally and vertically. Rotating and flipping a picture. The Rotate option is used to rotate the image at an angle or flip the whole picture. The Flip Vertical option turns the picture upside down and the Flip Horizontal option gives a mirror image of the picture. The different ways to rotate and flip a picture are given on the next page. To rotate and flip a picture, follow the steps shown below. First, select the picture. Second, click on Rotate. A drop-down menu appears. Third, click on one of the options to rotate and flip the picture. Let us see how the picture appears on clicking each of the options under Rotate. Copying a picture. The Copy option is used to create a copy of the picture or a selected part of it. This is useful when we want the same picture to appear the desired number of times in the drawing area. Follow these steps to copy the picture. First, click on the drop-down arrow of Select and choose a selection. Now drag the pointer to select the part of the picture you want to copy. Second, in the Clipboard group, click on Copy. Third, in the Clipboard group, click on Paste. The copy is pasted at the top left corner of the drawing area. Fourth, with the copy still selected, move it to the desired location in the drawing area. You can click on the Paste option again to paste more copies of the same picture. Cutting a picture. The Cut option is used to cut the picture or a selected part of it. The cut image can be pasted the desired number of times in the drawing area. Follow these steps. First, click on the drop-down arrow in Select and choose a selection. Second, Now drag the pointer to select the part of the picture you want to cut. Third, in the clipboard group, click on Cut. Fourth, in the clipboard group, click on Paste. The pasted image is placed at the top left corner of the drawing area. Fifth, with the pasted part still selected, move the picture to the desired location. Sixth, the part of the picture that is cut is replaced with the selected background color. Transparent selection. When you paste a picture or a selected part of it, the foreground color is included and appears with the pasted picture. To make the selection transparent so that no background color appears, use the transparent selection option under Select option. Follow these steps. First, click on the drop-down arrow under Select. Second, click on Transparent Selection. Select the picture or a part of it. Third, click on the Copy option. Fourth, click on the Paste option. Pasting an existing picture. The Paste From option is used to paste an existing picture from another file in the drawing area. Follow these steps. First, click on the drop-down arrow under Paste. Second, click on Paste From. Third, in the Paste From dialog box, choose and click on a picture. Fourth, click on Open. Fifth, the picture gets pasted in the open file. Chapter 4. Notepad. Starting Notepad. To start Notepad, follow the steps given below. First, click the Start button on the computer screen. The Start menu appears. Second, in the Start menu, click on All Programs. Third, in the next menu that appears, click on Accessories. Fourth, click on Notepad. The Notepad starts and the Notepad window appears on the screen. You will see a tiny vertical blinking line in the document area. This is known as the cursor. It shows the position where the character would appear on the screen when typed. The title bar at the top shows the name of the file. File name is untitled by default and the name of the program, Notepad. The menu bar has options like File, Edit, Format, View, and Help. Text is typed in the document area. Title bar, Menu bar, Cursor, Document area, Notepad window. A quicker way to start Notepad. If you look at the keyboard, you will see that at the bottom left-hand corner, between the left Control and the left Alt keys, there is the Windows key. Press the Windows key and the letter R together. This will open the Run dialog box. We can use this box to open many programs quickly. In this box, type Notepad and click on OK. This will open the Notepad window. Saving a document in Notepad. When the Notepad window opens, you can type text in it. After typing, the document needs to be saved so that you can open it again whenever you need. To save the document, follow the steps given below. First, click on File in the menu bar. This will open the File menu. Second, click on Save. Third, in the Save As dialog box that appears, write the name of the file in the File Name box and choose a location where you want to save it. Fourth, click on the Save button. Creating a new document in Notepad. To open a new file in Notepad, click on File in the menu bar and then click on New. A blank document opens. Opening an already existing file in Notepad. To open an already existing file in Notepad, follow the steps given below. First, click on File in the menu bar. Second, click on Open. The Open dialog box opens. Third, select the drive and the folder where the file you want to open is saved. Fourth, now select the file you want to open. Fifth, click on Open. Closing Notepad. To close Notepad, follow the steps given below. First, click on File in the menu bar. Second, click on Exit. Third, if the document is not saved, a warning message would appear that would ask you to save the file. Depending on your choice, you can save or not save the file. You can click on Cancel button to continue working in the Notepad application. You can also close it by clicking on the Close button at the top right corner of the title bar of the window. Chapter 5. Logo for Drawing. You know that a computer is a machine. It does not understand the language people commonly speak. Therefore, a special language has been developed to tell a computer what and how to do. This language is called computer language. Among the many computer languages that are available, Logo is the easiest to learn. It's fun learning and working on Logo. Logo. Logo stands for Logic-Oriented Graphic-Oriented. It is also called the Turtle's language. It is a very easy and interesting language, developed specially for school children. Logo can be used to do the following tasks: draw figures, type text, do calculation. Microsoft Windows Logo, MSW Logo, is a popular version of Logo. Starting MSW Logo. Given below are the steps to start MSW Logo. First, click on the Start button and then click on All Programs. Second, select and click on Microsoft Windows Logo. Third, click on Microsoft Windows Logo program. The MSW Logo window appears. Components of Logo window. The Logo window has two main parts: main screen, commander window, title bar, menu bar, turtle's playground, scroll bar, turtle, head, tail, recall list box, commander window, input box, commander buttons. Main screen. The main screen is the large blank area in which we draw figures. It is also called graphic screen. The various parts of the main screen are title bar, menu bar, and scroll bars. Title bar. The topmost bar is called the title bar. Menu bar. The menu bar holds various menus that hold various commands to perform tasks. Scroll bars. There are two types of scroll bars, horizontal and vertical. The horizontal bar is used to scroll the page left and right, whereas vertical scroll bar is used to scroll the page up and down. The triangle in the middle of the screen is the Logo turtle. The Logo turtle shows the position from where we start drawing. The top of the turtle is its head and the bottom part is its tail. The turtle moves according to the command given to it in the input box. We can move it in any direction. Initially, when we start Logo, the turtle appears in the middle of the screen, a place referred to as its home position. Commander window. The commander window is used to give commands to move the turtle. It is divided into three parts. First, command input box. We type commands in this box. Second, recall list box. It records and displays all the executed commands. Third, command buttons. Various buttons are available in the command window. They help us to work with Logo. Let us know about their functions. Halt. You can click it to stop Logo command from processing. Trace. You can use this button to trace and remove errors from the program. Pause. It stops the execution of commands temporarily. Status. It displays a status window showing the current settings in Logo. To close it, you need to click it again. Step. It helps to remove errors step by step. Reset. It clears the Logo screen and brings the turtle back to its home position. execute. After typing a command in the input box, it is clicked to run the command. The other option is to press enter. Add all. It changes the logo command. Logo primitives. The commands that we give to the turtle are called logo primitives. We have to type these logo commands in the command input box. These commands are executed when we click on the execute button or press the enter key. There are 9 basic primitives. These are given below. First, forward. This primitive is used to move the turtle forward or in the direction of its head. The short form of forward primitive is FD. Command FD space number of steps, enter. Example, type FD space 50 and press enter. The turtle moves 50 steps forward. Second, backward. With this primitive, the turtle moves backward. That is, it moves in the direction of its tail. The short form of backward primitive is BK. Command BK space number of steps, enter. Example, type BK space 40 and press enter. The turtle moves 40 steps backward. Third, hide turtle. This primitive is used to hide the turtle. The short form of hide turtle primitive is HT. Command HT, enter. Fourth, show turtle. We can use this primitive to bring the turtle back on the screen. The short form of show turtle primitive is ST. Command ST, enter. Fifth, home. The center of the main screen is the home of the turtle. This primitive is used to move the turtle back to its home. Command home, enter. Sixth, clear text. This primitive is used to clear the text typed in the text area. The short form of clear text primitive is CT. Command CT, enter. Seventh, clear screen. This primitive is used to clear the main screen and erase all text or graphics from the screen. The short form of clear screen primitive is CS. Command CS, enter. Eighth, right. With this primitive, the head of the turtle turns clockwise, which means to the right side. The short form of right primitive is RT. Command RT space number of degrees, enter. Example, type RT space 60 and press enter. The command suggests that the turtle will turn 60 degrees towards right. To move the turtle further, we have to give the backward or forward primitives. Ninth, left. With this primitive, the head of the turtle turns anti-clockwise, which means to the left side. The short form of left primitive is LT. Command LT space number of degrees, enter. Example, type LT space 30 and press enter. The command indicates that the turtle will turn 30 degrees left. Similarly, LT 90 suggests that the turtle will turn 90 degrees left. Repeat command. In Logo, we can use the repeat command to repeat a sequence of instructions the desired number of times. For example, A. FD100 LT90, B. FD100 LT90, C. FD100 LT90, D. FD100 LT90. Here we are typing FD and LT commands together and repeating them 4 times to get a square. We can do this in an easier way by using the repeat command. Repeat 4, square bracket, FD 100 LT 90 square bracket close. The above mentioned command will repeat the command FD 100 LT 90 4 times and will draw the square. A repeat command repeats the given command for the number of times mentioned in it. For example, to draw a triangle using the repeat command, we type repeat 3 square brackets FD 100 RT 120 square bracket close. The command FD 100 RT 120 will be repeated 3 times. Exiting logo. We can close MSW logo by typing by in the command input box. We can also exit from logo by clicking on the file menu and then selecting exit. Chapter 6. Logo for calculations. Print primitive. Print primitive is used to display a character, number, word, or sentence on the screen. We can also use it for doing calculations. The output of this command is displayed in the recall list box. The short form of print primitive is PR. This command takes only one input at a time. Printing a number. We use the following command to display a number. Command print space number, enter. Example, print space 1976. Printing a word. We use the following command to display a word. Command print double quotation mark word, enter, or PR quotation marks word, enter. Example, print double quotation mark computer. Printing a sentence. Print primitive is also used to display a sentence on the screen. Command print square bracket sentence, enter. Example, print square bracket the computer crashed square bracket close. Chapter 7. MS Word 2013. Starting Word 2013. Follow these steps to start Word 2013. First, click on Start button. Second, click on All Programs. Third, click on Microsoft Office 2013. Fourth, click on Word 2013. This opens the Word 2013 Start screen. In the Word 2013 Start screen, select Blank Document to create a new document. Parts of the Word 2013 window. The various parts of the Word 2013 window are shown below. File tab, Quick Access Toolbar, Title bar, Help, Minimize, Maximize, Close, Ribbon, Horizontal ruler, Dialog box launcher, Vertical scroll bar, Cursor, Vertical ruler, Status bar, Horizontal scroll bar, Document area. Title bar. The title bar is a horizontal bar located at the top of the Word 2013 window. It displays the document name followed by the program name. To the right of the title bar are located 3 buttons: Minimize, Restore down, or Maximize, and Close. The Minimize button is used to reduce a window to a small icon on the taskbar. The Restore down button is used to make the window smaller than full size. The same button is used to bring it back to full size. The Close button is used to close the window. Quick Access Toolbar. Some frequently used commands are shown in the Quick Access Toolbar located to the left end of the title bar of the Word 2013 window. It includes the Save, Undo, and Repeat commands. You can add more commands to the Quick Access Toolbar. File tab. The File tab is located at the upper left corner of the ribbon in Word 2013 window. Ribbon. The ribbon is located just below the title bar. It has 2 parts, tabs and groups. Each tab consists of commands arranged in different groups. Document area. a document is created in the document area. It is the blank space in which we add text and graphics. Help button. We can click it to get any help for working in Word 2013. It is located at the top right end of the title bar. Status bar. The status bar is located at the bottom of the Word 2013 window. Here, you can see information about the current document like the number of pages and words, view buttons, and the zoom slider bar. Dialog box launcher. The dialog box launcher is a small icon that appears in some groups. If we click this icon, a dialog box opens that provides more options related to that group. A dialog box is a new window that pops up. Horizontal ruler. The horizontal ruler is located to the top of the document area and is used to set the left margins, right margins, indents, and tabs. Vertical ruler. The vertical ruler is located to the left of the document area and is used to set top and bottom margins. Vertical scroll bar. The vertical scroll bar is located to the right of the document area and is used to move the document up or down. Horizontal scroll bar. The horizontal scroll bar is located at the bottom of the document area, just above the status bar, and is used to move the document left or right.